The Los Angeles Lakers still have a massive decision to make regarding a certain position on the roster. Welcome to Lakers Digest. My name is Hunter Pitcoff, where we cover everything surrounding your Lakers. Be sure to subscribe too if you haven't already to keep up with all of our latest content. And based on the title of the video, today's is going to be about the Lakers and a massive decision that they have to make. So, take us back to 2020, right? The glory days of the Los Angeles Lakers where they were in Disney, they won the NBA championship. LeBron James and Anthony Davis have that moment and solidify themselves as Laker legends. Not only was LeBron and specifically Anthony Davis great, but the depth behind Anthony Davis was spectacular. JaVale McGee and Dwight Howard both played pivotal roles and were a big reason why Anthony Davis was able to flourish in the bubble and in that season. And his versatility was on full display, being able to play both the 4 and the 5 for the LA Lakers. But ever since then, it has been a in and out. There's not been a single person who has really solidified themselves, yet along two people, as being that true backup big to play alongside Anthony Davis or to relieve Anthony Davis of some minutes. And so today, we're going to talk about if the Lakers have that guy on the roster right now and if they have what it takes to really help out Anthony Davis and prolong his career here in LA. So we actually got a little fun fact here from Trevor Lane. He is a very well-respected media figure, covers the Lakers for Lakers Nation, and he put out this interesting stat regarding Christian Wood, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis, and how last season, per 100 possessions, they were a plus 23.7. And look, I understand this too. Look, basketball is played on the hardwood. It's not played in the stat sheets. But to break that down for you, that pretty much just means that Christian Wood was really, really good, specifically next to Anthony Davis, when those three guys were on the court together. And so that does bring us to our next point here. Are we in for a bounce-back season from Christian Wood? Because last year, he did not play in many games for the Lakers. He was in and out the lineup. But early on in the season, he did, in fact, make his presence known. And the game that I specifically remember was early in the season against the Phoenix Suns, where he played 21 minutes, and Kevin Durant was absolutely cooking this game. And it seemed like that he was going to ultimately be the closer for Phoenix and get the win over the Lakers. But Christian Wood's defense, which has been very hated on over his career in that he's not the greatest defender, he absolutely bothered Kevin Durant, and he went just 4-11 from the field in the time that Christian Wood was the main primary defender on Kevin Durant. Now again, let's not take that lightly. That is Kevin Durant we're talking about, one of the greatest players and one of the greatest scorers this game has ever seen. And Christian Wood put the clamps on him. He locked him down, which very, very few players can ever say that they did to Kevin Durant. Now, that's not to say that Christian Wood is an all-NBA defender. That's not to say that he's going to do that every single time he goes up against a player like Kevin Durant. But the fact that he could play alongside LeBron James and Anthony Davis and give you some really good defense, plus his three-point shooting, I think is what makes it a really interesting fit in that lineup. Now, I don't think Christian Wood's going to be a starter on this team, but can he be a guy who comes off the bench, can play the 4, can play the 5, block shots, get rebounds, do what role players are meant to do, which has kind of been something that Christian Wood has had to get more accustomed to as he's prolonged his career here in the NBA? I think he makes a lot of sense to play alongside Anthony Davis, and he does give the Lakers something that they don't really have, which is a true big man that can really spread the floor, shoot threes, block shots, and get rebounds and keep possessions alive. And that allows Anthony Davis to kind of be the roam man in a defensive scheme, which I believe is what he's best at and most valuable for the Lakers, and his ability to block the rim or protect the rim, be a help side defender, and control the paint defensively. That's what Anthony Davis is best at. That's what we saw in the bubble when he was able to do that next to a Dwight Howard or JaVale McGee. And the Lakers have kind of shied away from that since, and they really haven't found a true big man to fill those shoes. And even for Christian Wood, as much as I like the skill set, as effective as it was for the Lakers, albeit not in a whole lot of games, a small sample size. I don't know if Christian Wood is the answer, though. Can he be a piece to the puzzle? Yes, but I think similar to a Dwight Howard, JaVale McGee situation, I think the Lakers are going to have the next man up mentality when it regards to relieving Anthony Davis, because I don't think they have that true, real five to put alongside him. You could talk about like a Brook Lopez. He's been rumored to be a Laker. Somebody like Wendell Carter from the Magic. They just signed a bunch of their big men back. Perhaps they want to trade away him to free up guys like Mo Wagner and Jonathan Isaac. Walker Kessler, is he available? But looking at the current roster, which is what we're going to do here today, what are the other options that the Lakers have at center? Because there's not many. One player, though, that is very interesting, and I think actually played a lot better than people expected, was Jaxson Hayes. And according to some of the reports here, Johan Buha, who is the main Lakers beat reporter for The Athletic, he reported that during this offseason, even though Jaxson Hayes has only been with the Lakers for one season, when it comes down to cost-cutting moves, perhaps trading away salary just to clear up some cap space or clear up some roster spots, because quite frankly, the Lakers don't really have that either. Cam Reddish, Christian Wood, and then Jaxson Hayes are the three players that opted into their player options and are on vet minimum deals. The two guys, though, according to Buha, that are most likely to be salary dumped and moved is Christian Wood and Cam Reddish. And what that tells you is that of the three guys, the Lakers actually like Jaxson Hayes the most of the three guys. And unlike Christian Wood, Jaxson Hayes is a legit 7 feet tall. He's really active on the glass. He's really active around the rim. And I'm not saying he's an A-plus player, guys, so don't misquote me on this. But he is an A-plus NBA athlete. I mean, we saw in that game against, I believe it was the Toronto Raptors, where on a fast break, Jaxson Hayes did an East Bay at 7 feet tall, went through the legs and dunked it. I mean, how many big men in the NBA can possibly do that? Especially in a live game can do that. There are not many. I mean, Jaxson Hayes is a freak of nature from a pure athlete perspective. Perhaps playing alongside LeBron and Anthony Davis can help mature his game a little bit. But the Lakers last year, and I think for this year too, they're not going to ask him to be something he's not. He's a guy who can, help Anthony Davis play more off the ball, defensively at least, and be that rim protector. Jaxson Hayes does have a bit of a tendency to get into foul trouble, though. So he's probably not going to be a starter for that reason, and because he is a little bit limited offensively. But can he be a guy who comes off the bench to either give Anthony Davis a break because he can't play all 48 minutes? I think he's someone who could play alongside a Christian Wood, for example, because of the various skill sets. But the Lakers don't ultimately have a true big man that can do what Jaxson Hayes does and what Christian Wood does and mesh it together. One player they do have, though, that is a little bit interesting here, that I actually think long-term could actually give you a little bit of both, is Colin Castleton. Now, Colin Castleton is entering his second season in the NBA, second with the Los Angeles Lakers. The Lakers made it a priority this offseason to re-sign him to another two-way contract. He appeared in only 16 games as a rookie. I mean, you look at the numbers here. It's not really all that much. But in his 12 regular season games with the South Bay Lakers, the G League affiliate, put up 14 points, nearly 10 rebounds, 3 assists, and a block and a half in 28 minutes per game, and scored double figures in 9 of those outings, including 3 20-point games. So also had a pretty solid summer league as well. But Colin Castleton is somebody who is, I believe, about 6'11", 7 feet tall. So he has the verticality of a Jaxson Hayes, but he also has shown the ability to stretch out his game beyond the paint and shoot the ball as well. The only thing with Colin Castleton, though, he has the least amount of NBA experience compared to Christian Wood and compared to Jaxson Hayes. And I think he's a little too skinny. Like, he's got to beef up a little bit. And when I was watching him in the summer league, it really didn't seem like, unfortunately, that he put on necessary healthy weight, I think, to really play a true 5 position in the NBA. So who knows, though? I mean, it's been a few months in summer league. Perhaps Colin Castleton has been eating his Wheaties. He's been drinking his protein shakes, and he's been beefing up a little bit. Because I think if he's able to do that, he's already 24 years old. out of the University of Florida, so he has a lot of game experience. He is somebody who has the right skill set to match alongside Anthony Davis there and to be a solid rotational five-man. And, I mean, ultimately, look, the Lakers are in a bit of a weird predicament because they are still a win-now team. When you have LeBron James and Anthony Davis, two guys that already won a championship together, they're not going to sit back and wait to just let things happen and ultimately, let LeBron ride off into the sunset and Anthony Davis wanting to get traded somewhere else. So if Colin Castleton can kind of show you a little bit more in training camp and in the preseason, perhaps he can earn the respect of new head coach JJ Redick and ultimately enter the starting lineup. Christian Wood, again, he is somebody whose offensive versatility can match up really nicely in between LeBron James and Anthony Davis, albeit is a bit of an undersized big man. And then Jaxson Hayes, an absolute freak in nature. He is somebody who can get above the rim and be a really dangerous lob threat next to or behind Anthony Davis. So again, guys, thank you so much for listening. Again, we're going to keep pushing out content. There's no basketball being played right now, but that's not going to stop us from putting out content here on Lakers Digest.